Hope everyone is doing good, keeping well.
Yes.
Okay. So we'll chant Mangalacharan and then we'll continue our discussion chapter 8. So we have been discussing chapter 8 and hopefully today we'll try to conclude chapter 8. Let's see it. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Desatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So we'll just try to quickly revise what we have discussed as of now, and then we'll see the last section. So in chapter 8 is attaining the Supreme, and where Arjuna started with asking a few questions, and what he asked about 8 questions, like what is Brahman, Adhyatmam, Karma, Adibhuta, Adideva, Adiyagya, and how this resides in this body, and how can devotee remember you at the time of death, that is Prayana Kali. And then Krishna, he in very 2 or 3 verses, actually in 2 verses he explains about this all the 7 parts, the answers to Arjuna. But the last one, Prayana Kali, how can devotee remember you or remember Krishna at time of death, he explains elaborately in this chapter. And then we saw Krishna explaining how can we remember Krishna and what happens when we remember Krishna at death. And also Krishna at contract, he also says that what happens if you remember something else. And then Krishna speaks about remembering Krishna in different ways. And then he spoke about this Chakra Vidhi or yoga, by which the prana vayu goes from lower to higher, and then they give this body. But that's a yogic practice, and that's very difficult as well. And then he talks about pure bhakti. And then how can someone easily attain Krishna just by Kevala Bhakti, right? And then Krishna explains about, as he says, if you go to my abode, then there is no coming back. And then he explains a bit about this material world and spiritual world, right? That's what we've discussed. And even in material world, Krishna says that even if you attain higher planets like Brahma Loka or Indra Loka, then there is a chance to come back in this material world. However, when you go back to my spiritual world, there is no chance of coming back, right? And Krishna's abode is eternal. That's the, I think, tell that we have discussed. And today we'll continue discussing about these 2 ways where Krishna says that by giving a body, who come back, who doesn't come back. We just started this discussion last week, but I will continue today. So let me share the screen. Okay. Hope you can see my screen. Do I need to enlarge it more, or it's okay? Is it okay? Hare Krishna. Can you hear me? Is it? Oops. Hare Krishna. Can anyone hear me?
Yes, you can hear you quite clear.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Okay, so we discussed text 24. Yeah, we'll continue from 24, in fact. Yeah. And then in 20, see, Krishna says here in 22nd verse about how can Krishna know can go him? No. Krishna can be known by, or how can Krishna attend Krishna? As he says, Bhaktya Labhyastu Ananya. So just by another devotion, we can actually get Krishna, right? And also we discussed about how Krishna is present everywhere in his abode, as well as he's all pervading in even everywhere, even in every atoms he's there. And also everything is resting in him. That's what we discussed our last week. I mean, last session, that is, yeah, that's last week, Friday. Yes, so Krishna has spoken here in 23rd verse. We have just read this translation saying that, O best of Bharatas, I shall now explain to you the different times at which passing away from this world, the yogis does and does not come back. And we also read this point that the unalloyed devotees of Supreme Lord who are totally surrendered soul do not care when they leave their bodies or by what method. That's Prabhupada makes very clear, isn't it? However, this Krishna is also going to make it very clear in 27th verse. We'll see it. So this is mostly speaking about Gyanis and the Yogis and the Karmis. Right. So text 24 speaks more about these Gyanis and Yogis, what happens when they give up their body, and at what time when they give up, they don't come back. And if the time is different, they come back as well. Text 24. Agnir Jyotir Aha Sukla Sanmasa Uttarayanam Tatra Prayata Gachanti Brahma Vido Jana. Those who know the Supreme Brahman attain that Supreme by passing away from the world during the influence of the fairy god in the light, at an auspicious moment of the day, during the fortnight of waxing moon, or during the 6 months when the sun travels in the north. So these are the few descriptions of how these yogis actually they try to make their self, when they pass in these situations, like in the light, an auspicious moment of the day. So during the fortnight of the waxing moon, or during the 6 months of when suns traveled in the north. So sun travels, we have seen in Bhagavatam session earlier that how sun rotates as well. It travels. So when sun travels towards north, that becomes a good time to give up the body, and that way they can go to Supreme Brahman. That's especially for yogis and jnanis. Right? And Prabhupada says that when fire, light, day, and the fortnight of the moon are mentioned, it is to be understood that all of them, there are various presiding deities who make arrangements for the passage of the soul. Right? And at that time of death, the mind carries one to the path of the new life. If one leaves the body at the time of designated above, either accidentally or by arrangement, it is possible for him to attain the impersonal Brahma Jyotir. Right? That Krishna explains about here Brahma Jyotir, Agnir Jyotir. Right. And here it says Brahma Vidojana. So they who know this process, actually they attain it. Right. And Prabhupada says that mystics who are advanced in yoga practice can arrange the time and the place of the body, to leave the body. Right. So that's how by practicing extensive yoga practices, they can actually arrange these things. And others, but in general, we don't have any control, isn't it? And Prabhupada says others have no control. If by accidentally they leave at a auspicious moment, then they will not return to the cycle of birth and death. But otherwise, there is every possibility that they will have to return. So Krishna has already explained it earlier, and now he explained that these are the conditions, like when there is fire, light, day, and a fortnight of the moon, or when sun travels towards the north, then there's a chance that they go to Brahma Jyotir and they do not come back again. So this devotee explained that this verse is actually specifically given for the yogis and jnanis. As we know, there are more bhaktas like bhakti yogi, jnana yogi, dhyana yogi, karma yogi, and then ashtanga yogi. So these are all for us yogis. In text 25, Krishna explains. So text 24 says in what time they don't come back, and 25 6 says when they come back. It says Dhumo Ratris Tatha Krishna Sanmasha Dakshinayanam Tatra chandramasam jyotir yogi prapya nivartate. The mystic who passes away from this world during the smoke, the night, the fortnight of the waning moon, or the 6 months when the sun passes to the south, reaches the moon planet, but again come back. So, earlier it says a fire and it says a smoke. So fire is auspicious and smoke is actually inauspicious. And day is auspicious, night is inauspicious. So in this way, and the waning moon, so in the waxing moon, and here it says the fortnight of the waning moon. And the 6 months when the sun passes to the south. So earlier it was towards north and to the south and reaches the moon planet. But they again come back. So in these conditions, people, they come back again to this material world. And Prabhupada says that in Srimad Bhagavatam, Kapil Muni mentioned that those who are expert in fruitive activities and sacrificial methods on earth attain to the moon at death. And this elevated soul live on the moon for about 10,000 of years by demigod calculations and enjoy life by drinking Somarasa. They eventually return back to the earth. This means that on the moon, there are higher classes of living beings, though they may not be perceived by the gross senses. So in the moon, even Krishna says they go to moon planet. So if the soul goes to moon planet, it means something is there, right? So that Prabhupada says that this means that on the moon, there are higher classes of living beings, though we can't perceive by our gross senses, right? And even someone doing very pious activities, and when they go to the moon, they enjoy there for certain years, depending on their pious credits. However, they come back again to this material world. So 2 ways, 24 verse speaks about how they don't come, and 25th verse says about how they come back to this material world. Right. So they attend to Brahma Jyotir. From Brahma Jyotir, they don't come back. And here they attend the moon planets when they come back. Again, Krishna already spoken earlier that Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punavartina Arjuna. So till Brahma Loka, wherever we go, we have to come back again to this material world. And material world, we may be taking different bodies. Not sure about the human body, but gradually to the human body. So human body is where we acquire karma. Karma is basically you acquire pious activities, a pious result, or by doing sinful activities, we get sinful, we acquire sinful results, and then we have to repay it either by enjoyment or by suffering, right? So both are there. And then Krishna summarizes these 2-3 verses, in fact, now 24, 25, and even 23, and Krishna summarizes in 26. He says, Shukla Krishna gati hete jagatah sarvate shashvate mate ekaya yate anavrittim anyaya vartate punaha. According to the Vedic opinion, there are 2 ways of passing from this world, one in the light and one in darkness. And when one passes in the light, he does not come back, but when one passes in the darkness, he returns. So Prabhupada says that the same description is of departure and return is quoted by Acharya Baladeva Vidyabhushan from the Chandogaya Upanishad 5.10.3-5. Those who are fruitic laborers and philosophical speculators from time immemorial are constantly going and coming. Actually, they do not attain ultimate salvation, for they do not surrender to Krishna. So until and unless we surrender to Krishna, there is a very difficult, even kind of no chances to attain ultimate salvation, right? So we do some fruitive activity, we work, we get some pious activity by by helping and everything, and then we go to a higher planet and then come back again. When we do something bad or sinful activities, we go downward and then again come back to this material world, right? So this is the place from where we can actually escape this material world holes also, right? It's very difficult to remember Krishna when we are in lower planets, because there is so much of kind of suffering, and in the higher planet also it's become very difficult to remember Krishna because there is so much of enjoyment. So this place, it teaches both sukha dukha, suffering and happiness, and it gives a chance for the human being to escape this by just saying these people who are how they are suffering as well, and then we can understand that yes, that condition also we can get again. So it's better to escape this material world and go to spiritual world, and there, I mean, getting the ultimate salvation. So Prabhupada clearly mentioned that actually they do not attain ultimate salvation. If you go to the higher planet, you're not getting ultimate thing. They're actually getting something higher than what we have here. There is less suffering, maybe no suffering. But again, the point is we need to come back again to this material world. But once you attain Krishna's abode, there is no coming back. So this 23rd to till 26, Krishna explains about the two ways: passing in the night, passing in the day or light, and passing in the dark. So in the dark, he comes back. When he passes in the light, he goes back. So there is a, it's very difficult for us to define when we passes, right? It's not that easy. Even it's kind of impossible to decide when to pass away, unless and until we are completely, more exalted yogis, who, as Prabhupada says earlier, they are yogis, they are expert yogis, they could define their times. It's not in general possible for everyone, right? And then text 27 speaks about what about the devotees. So as Prabhupada already mentioned in the previous purport, that the yogis, the bhakti yogis, or the who are practicing Krishna consciousness, who are practicing unalloyed devotion toward Lord Krishna, they do not bother about these two things. Even they know it, that passing in the light or passing in the dark, they actually come back. Passing in the day and passing in the light is no comeback to this material world. But still, why even they know, but they don't worry about it, because they have taken shelter of Krishna, and Krishna is going to take care of them when they give up this body. And that text 27 speaks about. Let's see. Text 27. Naite sruti partha janan yogi muhyanti kaschana tasmat sarveshu kaleshu yoga yukto bhavarjuna. Although the devotees who know these two paths, O Arjuna, they are never bewildered. Therefore, be always fixed in devotion. If you remember, earlier Krishna spoke that Tasma Sarveshu Kalesi Mama Anusmara Yuddhacha. The same line comes up actually. I'm not remembering which text it was, but in this chapter only itself. Krishna says Tasma Sarveshu Kaleshu Mam Anusmara Yuddhacha. Maya Arpita Mano Buddhi. So just give all my, everything to me, and with devotion to me, fight. So Krishna is saying in that Tasma Sarveshu Kalesi. Be always yoga yukta bhavarjuna. So be always in your mind fixed in devotion, right? So that's a conclusion, as Prabhupada already mentioned, that devotees do not worry about these two times, right? However, they know these two paths. So Prabhupada says Krishna is here advising Arjuna that he should not be disturbed by the different paths the soul can take when living the material world. So the soul can go in different ways, as already explained earlier. Even Krishna says that by remembering different things, you get attain another body in that way. If you remember me, you come to my abode. And then Krishna speaks about more about this time, what time is favorable to go to spiritual world, or maybe to get liberation, and what time you can come back. But at the end, in text 27, Krishna says that no need to worry about the devotees. They are never bewildered. Though they know these two paths, but they are completely indifferent to those. And Prabhupada says here that a devotee of Supreme Lord should never worry whether he will depart by arrangement or by accident. Right. So the devotee should be firmly established in Krishna consciousness and chant Hare Krishna. I think in nearly some 5 to 6 purports, Prabhupada already mentioned this point, that because the death is our real exam, right? The real test is our death. We prepare in our school semesters, throughout this 6 months for a semester exam, and then we have the next semester, and then we have next semester. We have chances to get clear our backlogs, in Indian colleges. But here, the test is our death, right? Because death defines our next destiny. So the way we live in this life, it defines our next life. The way we are living in this life actually is coming from our past. So we need to manage things the way that how by when we give this life, we go back to spiritual world and never here. That's why Prabhupada is mentioning again and again that devotees should be firmly established in Krishna consciousness and chant Hare Krishna. He should know the concern over either of the two paths is troublesome, because it's trouble. The practice of yoga is so difficult. Right? We have seen in chapter 6, and here also we have Arjuna says that it's really difficult, right? And to control your Sar chakra and getting your prana vayu from all the chakras to our top is very, very difficult. It's not impossible, but it's very difficult in this Kali Yuga especially. So the Prabhupada says the best way to be absorbed in Krishna consciousness is to be always direct in his service. So always engage yourself in the service of Lord. There are so many ways we can engage ourselves in service of the Lord, right? By cooking prasad, bhoga for him, and offering bhoga to Lord Krishna, right? Making an altar and offering arti to him, and doing kirtan, absorbing him in any time, any way, whatever we can do, right? Discussing about Krishna, chanting his holy name, associating with the devotees, going to the Dhamma, and so many ways actually we can be in Krishna consciousness, right? And Prabhupada's quotes about Srila Rupa Goswami explains that anasakta veshayan yatharam upanjitah. So one should be unattached in the material affairs and do everything in Krishna consciousness. So see, the point is unattached in material affairs. So I was hearing a lecture a couple of days back by I think Radhaswami Prabhu. He was saying very nicely that we need to unattach ourselves from material affairs, but it doesn't mean that we need to give up the things, right? If we have the thing we have got by the will of Lord, then we can utilize those things for the service of Krishna. We definitely have this body. Krishna explains earlier that we have this body. We have to do work to maintain this body. We can't be idle. Just to live, we have to eat something. So that's needed. So we can be in material affairs. We have to do it material affairs anyway, because we have our jobs, we have families, so we have to take it away. However, the understanding is that we should be unattached. And how we can be unattached? The only way to become unattached is to attach ourselves in something else, or that is higher, something to Krishna. So when we attach ourselves to Krishna, the unattachment in material affairs, it becomes automatically. We don't have to hanker for it. We don't have to work hard to get unattached to this. So the way is engage ourselves in Krishna consciousness. We can definitely see that we are going detached from this material affairs. It's a byproduct, in fact, right? So then hence Prabhupada again mentioned that therefore the devotees is not disturbed by these descriptions, because he knew that his passage to the supreme abode is guaranteed by devotional service. And Prabhupada has many times quoted this, chant 16 rounds, follow 4 principles, you are good to come back to Godhead. Right. And the last verse, a very important verse. Let's see. Vedesu yajneshu tapeshu chaiva dhaneshu yat punya phalam pratishtham atyeti tatsarvam idam vidhitva yogi param sthanam upaiti chadyam. A person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of the result derived from studying the Vedas, performing sacrifices, undergoing austerities, giving charity, or pursuing philosophical and spiritual activities. Simply by performing devotional service, he attains all these, and at the end, he reaches the supreme eternal abode. That's the conclusion of chapter 8 again. So see, chapter 5, chapter 6, chapter 8, 7, chapter 8, Krishna is concluding at the end that perform devotional service. So what he says, let's repeat. A person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of the results derived from studying the Vedas. So anyone who takes the path of devotional service, actually, he has done all this by default. He has studied the Vedas. He has performed sacrifices. He has undergone austerities and giving charity or pursuing philosophical and spiritual activities. So all, actually, he surpasses everything over there. So simply performing devotional service, he attains all these, and at the end, he reaches the supreme eternal abode. So, see, just by performing a devotional service, we attain all the results which is derived by all these things. And it's not only that, what happened at the end, he reaches the supreme eternal abode. So that's what we all actually wanted, to go to spiritual eternal abode. And Krishna says it here. If you remember, a couple of, I think, weeks back, we are discussing a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. Let me open it. Give me a second. I'll just read it out again. It was Canto 3, chapter 33 and 7. Yes, here it is. So we'll read it again. I think this is echoing again the same thing what Krishna is saying here by the Mother Devati. He says, she says, I'll read the translation. Oh, how glorious are they whose tongues are chanting your holy name. Even if born in the families of a dog eater, such persons are worshipable. Persons who chant the holy name of your Lordship must have executed all kinds of austerities, fire sacrifices, and achieved all the good manners of the Aryans. To be chanting the holy name of your Lordship, they must have bathed at holy places of pilgrimage, studied the Vedas, and fulfilled everything required. See, isn't it? So, who chant the holy name, they already have these qualities. And Krishna is saying here that anyone who performs devotional service, he is not bereft of this results coming from studying Vedas. It means what? Definitely he has got all the results of performing sacrifices, studying the Vedas, going austerities, and taking bath in the pilgrimage, giving charity, and everything. And at the end, ultimately, he reaches the supreme abode. Right. So there are so many verses. I'm not so expert in all this diversion of scriptures, but Bhagavad Gita Bhagavatam is completely clearly says about chanting the holy name. And that's why Mahaprabhu always says that Harir Nama, Harir Nama, Harir Nama Eva Kevalam. Kalivnasti, Evanasti, Evanasti Gatiranatha. So in this Kali Yuga, there is no other way, there is no other way, there is no other way. Just chant the holy name, the holy name, the holy name. Right. So that's the essence of everything actually. So let's see. And very importantly, these things, see, studying of Vedas, actually we'll see it, Prabhupada mentions here, this is a long purport, see. And Prabhupada mentions here that studying of the Vedas, let me find it out where it is. Okay, let's go one by one. So this verse is a summation of the 7th and 8th chapters, which particularly deal with Krishna consciousness and devotional service. So one has to study the Vedas under the guidance of a spiritual master and undergo many austerities and penances while living under his care. A brahmachari has to live in the home of the spiritual master just like a servant, and he must beg alms from door to door and bring them to spiritual master. He takes food only under the master's order. And if master neglects to call the students for the food for the day, the student fasts. So there are some of the Vedic principles for observing brahmacharya, right? However, then Prabhupada explains about these 4 categories, like brahmacharya, grahastha, vanaprastha, and sannyasa. And the essence is one becomes elevated to the perfectional stage of life. So some are then elevated to the heavenly kingdoms, and when they become even more advanced, they are elevated in the spiritual sky, either in the impersonal Brahma Jyoti or in Vaikuntha planet of Krishna. This is the path outlined by Vedic literature. And very nicely Prabhupada says here that beauty of Krishna consciousness, however, is that by one stroke, by engaging in devotional service, one can surpass all the rituals of the different order of life. Right? I'll go again. So the beauty of Krishna consciousness, however, is that by one stroke, by engaging in devotional service, one can surpass all the rituals of the different orders of life. Right? So it's very, very clear, right? And one more thing. And Prabhupada summarizes actually chapter 6, chapter 7, and chapter 8 here as well in this purport. See here, one who has little faith in Bhagavad Gita, so faith is required, right, should learn Bhagavad Gita from a devotee, because in the beginning of the 4th chapter it states clearly that Bhagavad Gita can be understood only by the devotees. No one else can perfectly understand the purpose of Bhagavad Gita. So one should therefore learn Bhagavad Gita from a devotee of Krishna, not from material speculators. Prabhupada warns it, actually said. Because unless until the one who is giving Bhagavad Gita, he don't have the faith in Krishna, then how can he give you the love of Krishna? Right? So that's why Prabhupada always says that we should try to associate ourselves with the exalted devotees who are the pure devotees of Lord. Right? And then I'm searching for one more word here. Okay. So even it's being said that the study of the Vedas is actually not meant for the recreation of armchair speculators, but for the formation of character. So I think I noted this point from a lecture. It says that when we study Vedas, scriptures, this actually purify our heart. It should transform our heart. It's not becoming ourselves to become proud, envious. Okay, I'm a scholar now. Right? I can chant the Sanskrit verses very well, and I can speak very well on these things. But there is no transformation in the heart. There is no connection with the Krishna. There is no use of studying Vedas then. Right? So devotion is much more important than anything. So that's why reading scriptures actually increases our humility, as we are discussing in the last week, that in the tree when there is no mango on the mango tree, we see that these branches, they are actually straight, and when the fruits comes and when the fruit become more heavier, the branches goes down. So that's how the devotees, the pure souls, who when they've got a sense, they become more humble. See the story of Jagai and Madai, right? When Nityananda Prabhu went to deliver those, and they threw stones to hurt Nityananda Prabhu, and blood was coming. And as soon as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knows about it, he actually came there and he wanted to kill those Jagai and Madai. But then Nityananda Prabhu says, "Oh Krishna, what are you doing? We are here to deliver the fallen souls, and if you kill, then how will deliver?" So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu delivered those to fallen soul as well. So when we take shelter of Nityananda Prabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, anyone can be delivered, right? They are here. They are called Patita Pavana. So we are the fallen souls, and they came here especially to deliver us. The point is, if we have just a small faith, then everything we can get it, right? So and let me read this line again, actually, the last thing. So when one searches for a devotee and fortunately gets a devotee association, one actually begins to study and understand Bhagavad Gita. So Prabhupada again emphasizing on association of the devotees, right? See, this is very, very simple, right? If you want to associate with the drunkards, definitely you are going to get drunk. Even if you don't know how to drink, you will go up to there, right? In some short span of time. But they are a material thing, right? But when we associate with the devotees, they will give you something amazing, something powerful, something eternal, right? And then by advancement in association of the devotees, one is placed in devotional service, and the service dispels all one's misgiving about Krishna or God and Krishna's activities from pastimes, name, and other features. And after this misgiving, so when the doubts get cleared about Krishna, about his pastimes, about his form, then after these misgivings have been perfectly cleared away, one becomes fixed in one's study. So when we do studying the study again, then one relishes the study of Bhagavad Gita and attains the state of feeling always Krishna consciousness. And in the advanced stage, one falls completely in the love with Krishna. This highest perfection stage of life enables the devotee to be transformed to Krishna's abode in the spiritual sky, Golok Vrindavan, where the devotee becomes eternally happy. Right? See, see the words of Prabhupada, crystal clear. What you do and what you get. So thus end the Bhaktivedanta purpose of eighth chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of attaining the Supreme. The thing is that we normally we try to get the results quicker. However, it says once before getting the ruchi or before getting these results, we have to be in a stage of nishtha, very particular, very very peculiar on performing these activities. Okay. Without hankering for the results, we am sure to do my service very very strongly, right? Very very regulatory. Then the results definitely will come back to us, and Krishna is going to shower us those things, right? So the results of devotional service is engaging ourselves more in devotional service. A devotee was explaining nicely talk. So sometimes people say, what will I get if I engage myself in serving Krishna? He replied that understand that the service to Krishna is actually the one who has got it. This is the result. So result of engaging yourself in Krishna consciousness on serving Krishna is engaging yourself more in Krishna's devotional service, right? So this is the fortune actually to be engaged in Krishna's service. So we don't have to ask that what I will get by serving Krishna. Rather, you are getting it. You are fortunate. That's why you are able to perform some devotional service to Krishna, right? Otherwise, there are Lakshmi Sahasra Sadasabhya Shivamanam. Krishna is being served by thousands of Lakshmi Devi, who we are to serve him, right? So, and that's how we conclude chapter 8. Anyone have any questions or thoughts or any comments? Please let me know. And then we'll this Friday, I think this Friday we might not have session. I have some work. Otherwise, I'll let you know. Otherwise, we'll start chapter 9.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare
Just wanted to clarify one thing. So when we speak about Swarga Loka, where they're demigods, so they are also they were also humans who've done really good auspicious punya work, that they've been elevated to demigod status, is it? They were also in the material world as humans.
Yes. So these are also jivas. So from Brahma till an end, everyone is jiva.
Oh,
so
okay.
what happens? Krishna nominates his devotees. So these are actually called as Mishra Bhakta. So they have desire to fulfill something, material thing, not material, maybe some desire to enjoy. However, they are Bhakta of Krishna.
Okay.
So Mishra Bhakta, Kama Mishra Bhakta is actually called as Kama Mishra Bhakta. They have the desire, but they are devotee of Lord Krishna. So Krishna says, okay, you are bad, but as they are devotee of Krishna, so Krishna position them in this planets. So okay, you enjoy and then you do my service in this way actually.
Okay.
Right. So from Brahma till all these planets, wherever we see all these planets, all these sages, then Indra and then Chandra and then everything, they are actually persons. They are jivas. And
so when their punya activities are complete, then they'll also come back to material earth.
I haven't heard clearly about it, but I haven't heard that there is a chance that they can actually, by performing devotion perfectly, they can actually from there also they can go back.
Okay.
To the spiritual world. It's not necessary for them to come back again, but we living entity like let's suppose Brahma Loka, Lord Brahma is there, and we go to Brahma Loka, so we enjoy there, right? And we when our past activity finishes, we come back to this material world again. However, Lord Brahma, he might not have to come back again this material world. He can actually go back to spiritual world again.
Oh, okay.
So even from Brahma Loka also, if we are in Krishna consciousness, we can actually elevate higher.
Okay.
If we just engage ourselves in sense gratification, then we'll come back again.
Oh, okay, Prabhuji. Yeah. Thank
So
you so much.
that's the circle of this 14th system. However, Krishna says when we go back to spiritual world, to Krishna's abode, then from there is no coming back.
Okay.
Right.
Thanks so much, Prabhuji, for clarifications. Very helpful. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So it's same like there's a prime minister and he's good associates. They got a finance minister and who prime minister can have full faith that okay, this person is going to work well for this country, society. Like though he nominates finance minister, railway minister. I mean, here we have some political things, but I'm saying the context. Like definitely they have some good relations with prime minister, and they say, okay, I will perform your activities very nicely. So they get nominated with this finance minister or railway minister or home minister kind of things. So in a similar way, Krishna nominates. And if you see in the Bhagavatam also, we have discussed earlier that how this the sages, the Manu, the Manvantar, the Devatas, and Indra, they all get nominated by Krishna himself.
Okay.
These are the positions. And sometimes what happens, if there is no particular person to become Brahma or Indra, then Krishna himself expands and takes the position.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
That's Bhagavatam explains. So if there is no one qualified to become a Brahma, then Krishna takes this position. And it's being said that if we perform our material life, I think it's 100 times 100, completely pure material life, completely dedicated, then we can get elevated towards become Lord Brahma. And if we can perform 100 lifetime as Brahma, then we can take position of Rudra, but not Shiva. It's Rudra. So the Rudra is actually just taking care of this devastation of this material cosmos.
Okay.
So at any point of time, no one can take place of Lord Shiva and Lord Krishna, but anyone can take place of any other devatas.
Okay. That's good to know, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So we'll stop today here. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Gaudiya Vaishnava Vrinda ki
Jai.
So we'll try to sing this bhajan for praying Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.